As parents, we get so much joy and excitement watching our children take on all of their milestones from sitting up to rolling to crawling and walking. But truly, this is nothing better than hearing our child's first words. But what if those precious milestones seem to be delayed? If you found yourself worried about your child's speech development, you're not alone. Speech delays affect about 5 to 10% of preschool-aged children, with boys being 3 to 4 times more likely to be affected than girls. But here's something that might surprise you. The root cause of many speech delays could be linked to events that happen during birth. And today we're going to explore an often overlooked factor in speech delays and introduce you to a groundbreaking approach that goes even deeper than speech therapy and OT to fully address the root cause of speech delays. So this video will be especially powerful for families who have already perhaps many months or even years into speech therapy and have seen some great improvements and gains, but have plateaued or not progressed at the rate or the level that you're looking for. We're going to be discussing the surprising link between birth interventions and speech delays and how neurologically focused chiropractic care can address the root cause of these delays. You're going to learn about a holistic approach that could complement or even enhance traditional speech therapy. In our practice, we've seen countless parents struggling with their children's speech delays. They've often tried various therapies and interventions, but the progress is slow or it's inconsistent. And what many don't realize is that speech delays can often be tracked back to birth trauma. And when we dive into a case history of our patient population struggling with speech delays, well over 80 to 90% of them have some documented birth interventions like forceps or vacuum extractions, C-sections, or inductions. There are studies that show that birth interventions like forceps or vacuums and C-sections, which are used in a significant number of deliveries, can potentially cause physical trauma to an infant's delicate upper neck and brainstem area. And this trauma can lead to neurological dysfunction and alter the overall function of the nerves and the muscles that control and facilitate speech. So the physical twisting and the pulling that comes with birth interventions leads to something called subluxation, which is a misalignment, a fixation, and neuromuscular interference or dysfunction. Now, this subluxation or stress stuck onto our neurospinal system, particularly within the upper neck and our brainstem area, can affect the nerves and the muscles crucial for speech production. And here's why that's super important. The nervous system controls everything within the body, including our speech development. Subluxation or stress stuck onto the nervous system can interfere with the proper functioning of those nerves that are responsible for speech. And traditional speech therapy, while it's valuable, and I love working with these providers, it may not always address the underlying neurical issues because the exam and the assessment does not necessarily look for them. So now when we're talking about speech, it's kind of a 3-step process. So first, there's the perception or the input or the auditory component of speech. Before we can get to expressive language, we have to first master gestures, receptive language. Secondly, the brain and the nervous system must integrate and coordinate or make sense of the auditory input come in. And then the third step is the expression of speech. Now, subluxation or stress stuck onto the nervous system can interfere with each step of speech formation, including the first two, which is why it escapes traditional medical and therapy assessments. Now, while traditional speech therapy or even myofunctional therapy looks at speech delays as almost solely a muscular dysfunction issue, muscles are under the control of the nervous system. So the tone and the coordination of the nervous system matters massively. And additionally, many providers today will blame tongue ties and oral ties, but even those are often first caused by subluxation and tension and stress onto the nerves and the nervous system. And this is why so many parents report to us that even after doing traditional speech therapy or myofunctional therapy, or maybe even after a tongue tie or oral tie revision, their children is still struggling with speech delays. So the question then lies is how to find out if we can help. Well, the first step to finding if we can help out a child with speech delays is diving into their case history. And if we find things like a stressful pregnancy, like birth interventions and trauma, difficulty nursing and latching, torticollis, plagiocephaly, recurring chronic ear infections, and so forth, we become extra confident that we can help. The next step is running the neurological insight scans or the testing that we do within the office that help us to find and locate stress stuck on your child's nervous system, or what we call a subluxation. And once we have this information and the scan findings, we can place together a personalized, customized plan of action or a care plan for your child, and then sit down and review those results with you with what's called a report of findings visit. That's the secret sauce to speech delays, is understanding where we are now, what happened before, where are we going moving forward. Because that's how we address the underlying neurological dysfunction to be able to support neurodevelopment and enhance speech delay.